Okay, now on to the other two steps. So step 2 is to become an imperfect action master. Les Brown, one of my favorite speakers, says, "We're all failing our way to success." I love this quote. It takes so much pressure off when you hear from someone who's really successful that they too got to where they are, not by being perfect, but by learning each time something didn't work for them and they kept right on going, failing their way to success. So when we're so worried about doing things perfectly, we wind up not doing anything at all or reverting to old habits. How does this show up for you around weight loss? Are you waiting for the perfect time to make healthy changes? If something isn't perfect, do you throw in the towel? This is so common, and it sets you up for no results or temporary results. So step number 2 is to know that it's okay, not just okay, but totally normal to fail your way to success. Make a decision right now to take some action, even really small action, toward what you want without getting hung up on whether it's perfect or good enough. That's how you become an imperfect action master, and that's how you find success. There are some examples of imperfect actions that I'd like to share with you. Like here's some things that you could do today. Put a healthy food on your grocery list. Take a sabotage food off your grocery list. Drink a glass of water. Go to bed a little earlier. Some healthy action is better than none. And by acknowledging up front that it's imperfect, you take the pressure and the expectations off of yourself. It feels lighter. So I've seen many a client get hung up on perfection. And oh my gosh, have I been there over and over again myself. And it's liberating to take imperfect action. For my client Carmen, this meant simplifying her meals. She put so much pressure on herself to put together these perfect meals. And when work got in the way or family life got in the way or just life got in the way, she'd go to the extreme and get fast food or junk food. In her mind, if she couldn't do it perfectly, then she felt like a failure. And that part of her brain, that all of us have that just says, screw it, would come into play. So for her, it was so freeing to take imperfect action, to know that she'd get healthier a lot faster when she just let it be okay to not be perfect. It took so much stress off her. And now it's just how she lives her life. She travels a lot. She enjoys her life. She can always find good options wherever she goes. And she doesn't have that burden of questioning whether it's perfect. All right, step 3, cultivate a loving, nurturing voice. Now let's be honest. How do you usually talk to yourself? Do you encourage yourself, or do you tell yourself it's hopeless to even try? When you look in the mirror, what do you say? Do you avoid looking in the mirror? When you eat or drink, what's the voice in the background saying? Many of us don't know what it means to talk to ourselves in a loving way. And I'm not talking about what you say out loud, though that is part of it. Sometimes we take jabs at ourselves with jokes. I'm talking about what you're saying to yourself that no one else can hear. The things that if you did say them out loud every time you thought them, your ears would bleed. You'd shock your friends and family and people that you work with. So this is your inner voice. Now, somewhere along the way, for some of you, it started out when you were very young. This became the voice of authority for you. the voice that you let affect how you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself. And it's always the voice that tells you to do the thing that keeps you stuck or regaining the weight you lost. For some of my clients, their inner voice was a critical parent, a family member, or a critical friend. Sometimes it was their own voice, but they'd be yelling at themselves or calling themselves names, telling them that they weren't good enough, and that they'd never be able to reach their health goals. So you all know that voice. I want to talk with you about what an impact it makes when you have a kind, loving, nurturing voice that encourages you, not just when you're struggling, but having that be the voice that follows you throughout your day. It's the voice that expresses unconditional love. And it says things that make you feel that it's okay to not be perfect, that no one's perfect, but at the same time holds up the mirror for what you really want for yourself deep down. What would that voice sound like? Have you heard it before? When did you last hear it? When did you last hear it about your body and releasing the weight that doesn't serve you? Imagine for a moment what you would like this voice to sound like. Is it soft or firm? Male or female? Younger or older? Loud or quiet? Fast or slow? It can be whatever you want. Does the voice that you need to hear already belong to somebody? That's okay. Now, what is this loving voice saying to you? Is it telling you that you can feel so good in your body, that you're beautiful, that struggling is normal, that you can have what you want, that you're courageous, that your body knows how to be healthy and release this weight for good, that there is freedom for you in your body in this lifetime? What is it that you need to hear? What is it that you need this voice to tell you? Using a nurturing voice creates changes to your brain, and it can help reduce your stress response, can help you build resilience. You have a loving, nurturing voice. That was beautifully done. Now, it's not enough to hear this information once. Many of you have been in a scarcity mindset around your weight and health for months, years, maybe even decades. Neuroconditioning tools like the mantra of abundance and nurturing voice must be repeated and reinforced for long-term success. They will help you rewire your brain and your habits when you practice them. They're amazing. Practice makes permanent. That's something my husband says a lot. Practice makes permanent. You're really good at your current habits because you've been practicing them. They feel automatic. It's no different with health and abundance. The tools that I've talked about are the bridge to get from what's not serving you and what's fooling you into thinking that permanent change is not possible to a body and mind that is unstoppable. So if you're struggling to permanently release weight, it's because you've been missing these essential tools. When these tools are missing, you inevitably regain the weight and are afraid to even try again. So I'm really glad that you've joined me today so that you could learn what it takes to break free from these limiting beliefs and finally get what you want. You deserve it. Now notice that we didn't even talk about knowing what the best foods are for your body or the physical blocks to weight release, like toxins, gut health, hormones, thyroid, etc. We didn't talk about calories or exercise or water or awesome recipes or how to successfully dine out or navigate the social elements of keeping the weight off or how to be able to flip your switch when, despite all good intentions, you slip into a mindset that doesn't serve you. I like to keep things simple because when things get too complicated, we freeze up or we keep doing what we've always done. That doesn't mean that these other things don't matter. It just means that I've learned a better system for holding the big picture, one piece at a time, so you don't get overwhelmed. You get results. So I'm going to open up the chat in just a moment. You can press *9 if you'd like to ask a question live, or you can type in the chat, either one of those options. So at this time, I'd like to thank you for participating. And I really appreciate you showing up and listening and learning how you can make weight release permanent for you. If you're feeling like you'd rather ask me a question privately, then I'd be happy to answer it during your free Unstoppable Health Discovery session. So just a reminder, in this call, we'll talk about the main area of your health that you'd like to improve, what you've already tried, the results that you want, and how I can help you. And now I'll stick around and answer some questions in the chat. So you can either press *9 to unmute you or click raise your hand and I can unmute you. All right, let's see. All right, I'm not seeing any questions so far. Let me just scroll through here. Wow, you guys, I answered all your questions. Yay. All right. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Cindy. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Awesome. Anybody else have a comment or a question? Thanks, Helena. Appreciate that. For those of you that are just listening in, just realized I should probably read the awesome comments here. So yay, thank you, Rebecca, for this absolutely awesome information. You're amazing. You're amazing too, Cindy. And then thank you. It's even more good info from Helena. Yeah, thank you. All right, everybody, it seems like we don't have additional questions. So, or you're gonna just be more comfortable asking those questions one-on-one, which I totally honor and respect. So you can snag a session with me at bit.ly/schedulinghealth. Sounded like somebody unmuted and had a question. Go ahead. Maybe not. No worries. It was lovely seeing all of you here. I really hope that this was useful for you, and I'm wishing you unstoppable health. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.